Right then, good evening everybody and welcome. Normally at the start of a webinar I like to check that you can both hear me and see my screen. So would you mind typing in a yes into the chat box if you can both hear me clearly and see my screen? Fantastic. Okay, so you're about to discover how to get Facebook working for you. So you're going to learn what's brand new in Facebook, some of the new amazing features it's been introducing over the last few months that are absolutely fantastic at getting small business results. I'm so excited for this webinar. So it's the first in a series of 9 new Facebook webinars. So I really hope that you're all ready for this. So are you ready to get as excited about Facebook as I am, learning to use it to get some really amazing results? So I really hope so. Okay, so before we jump in, just a couple of housekeeping items. You'll notice I don't tend to enter presentation mode. Sometimes at the start people ask me to enter presentation mode because they sometimes would like to see the PowerPoint presentation slides a little bit clearer. I don't tend to enter PowerPoint presentation mode because I jump forwards and backwards between PowerPoint and the Facebook website and the other websites I'm going to show you so often that, to be honest, it's just easier for me to just leave it like this, so please bear with me on that. Then just to say I will take questions at the end. Now I do typically leave the questions box minimized throughout the presentation, or else, you know, we've got several hundred of you on the line. What does tend to happen is the fact I if I've got hundreds of questions firing through, I find it somewhat distracting. So it's unlikely I will see your question until the end. Now at the end I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can, but I really can't promise to answer all of the questions today because obviously we had I think we probably hit around about 1,000. I think we were at 993 or 94 people registered for tonight's webinar, so a very popular topic. Okay, so I'll do questions at the end, but as I said, I will do as many as I can, but I might not manage to do them all. Now, another question I'm normally asked at the start is there going to be a replay? Yes, there is. I will tell you how to get the replay at the end, okay? So I am indeed recording it, and yes, I will give you the details for how to get the replay at the end. Okay, so it might be a good idea right now to make sure that you've got your Skype closed, etc. Pop your mobile phone on silent, take as many notes as you are able to. I will be talking quite quickly and jumping around. It is likely that typically with my training sessions people often do watch them 2 or 3 times because obviously it's a huge amount of information to be covered in a short period of time. I've said close Facebook and Twitter, but you know what? It's unlikely many of you will actually be able to keep Facebook closed permanently because you're probably going to want to be playing around with some of the features as I'm demoing them to you. So I will forgive this if you have Facebook open at the same time, especially, of course, if you're tagging me or posting on the page, on our page or something like that, saying that you're in our webinar. More than happy for you to do those type of things. Right, okay, so I have got a little poll that I'm going to launch. So let me just launch this poll. So you should now have a little question appeared in front of you that's asking you how much you're currently spending on Facebook. So I'm expecting the majority of people to be brand new to Facebook, then with a few people spread amongst the other spend levels. So let me just keep that closed, open for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, okay, let me just close that one down. Okay, so it's telling me that 48% of you are currently spending nothing on Facebook, 46% of you are spending between $1 and $250 a month, 5% between $251 to $500 a month, and then 1% for both the 501 to 1,000 and another 1% for the 1,000 plus per month. So as I expected, you know, like the majority of people currently spending, so at least nearly half of you spending nothing at the moment. So of course that doesn't mean that you haven't tried it in the past. It might mean that you've tested it and haven't managed to get it working. Okay, so let me just minimize that poll a second. Okay, so here's what we're going to be looking at this evening. So we're going to be looking at how to build a responsive fan page quickly. how to create killer adverts for your business using little-known Facebook targeting features, how to follow visitors around on Facebook to build your brand and use what's called remarketing to generate leads quickly and affordably, and then some recent changes that have come about this year that you do need to be aware of to make sure that you stay 100% compliant with Facebook's terms of service. So I do see a few business owners that are still falling foul of these, that are at risk of having their account closed down, etc. So that's why I decided to pop that in to tonight's webinar. Well, now most of you, in fact all of you, should know who I am because I haven't actually done any external advertising for this webinar at all. I've literally just invited my remarketed list, so everybody who's been on my website, and my email list. So you should, the majority of you should know who I am, unless of course you've been invited by somebody else who knew me instead. So I am a former secondary school teacher up till 2000, well, late 2006, 2007. Set up my first company, which was an IT training company, in 2007. Then set up a marketing agency, which I sold in 2012. That was, of course, a digital marketing agency. I've trained over 15,000 people to date. It's probably many more than that. I do need to do another recount now because on webinars, etc., I've reached so many thousands of people. I've got multiple online products that I launch entirely using Facebook. Well, Facebook and a combination of Facebook and email. Okay, so a lot of what I do is getting people onto the email list as well. So the majority of people today that were on the webinar, you've been invited by email, and then probably, you know, I've done a fair amount of Facebook retargeting as well. And this little picture in the bottom right-hand corner here, this comes from Infusionsoft, that shows you the number of people that you can get through into your email system. So Infusionsoft is my mail system that I use, and this is the type of results that you can get. Obviously, it's B2B, so business to business. It is possible to add this many leads that are obviously they're opting in. So that's how many I've added in the last 30 days. So this is, it is possible on business to business, and of course many more if you're business to consumer. Okay, so I've updated this. So some of you may have attended a webinar I did last year when I launched a different product. So last year's product was about Facebook, less about advertising, more about managing pages and groups, etc. So last year, these statistics were really fairly different than they are now. So some of you may recognise these type of statistics, but they have moved on since we did last year's course. So there's currently 1.15 billion active users of Facebook. So 85% of people that use the internet use Facebook. Yeah, that's an astonishingly high figure. 829 million users per day, spending an average of 40 minutes each. Now, when we did this last year, they were actually only spending 20 to 25 minutes per day. So you can see the average time has gone up substantially. There are 654 million users accessing Facebook through their mobile every day. 63% of people log in once every day. Now, isn't that amazing? And then, of course, there's several people, and myself included, that log in multiple times per day as well. So I'm imagining some of you are amongst that group as well, you know, that logging in at least once per day, probably checking it out multiple times per day. For many people, it's the first thing they do when they get up in the morning. You know, it's what people do, is get up, check Facebook, what's happened overnight. And 43% of all online consumers will follow the companies that they like, and they are either a follower or a fan of that particular company on social media. So for bigger brands, smaller brands, etc., you know, it is definitely worth building a brand on Facebook. So we've got 1 billion people liking and commenting, doing that in total 3.2 billion times every day. And there's 1.5 million small businesses advertising that this time last year when we did the webinar, that was only 1 million. So that's gone up by 50%. You know, the new take-up is absolutely huge. And 30 million small businesses have a fan page as of today. So that's an astonishing number of fan pages out there. How many of them actually then regularly post, etc.? I couldn't find that data. I'd be interested to know how many people actually post daily, and probably far fewer than that, I should imagine. So probably only around about 10% actually posting daily. That would be my guess. And 20% of people who are active on Facebook have actually bought something either directly through a page, or it might be because a friend recommended it or talked about it. So, you know, it's happening on Facebook. People are buying on Facebook. Okay, so this is a somewhat interesting statement, because I personally believe that Facebook can work for your business, whatever type it is, as long as it has existing customers and past customers. So as long as it's a business that has been trading, basically. New businesses, obviously, you're in a slightly different position. And this is because every existing business has customers, okay? So if every business has customers that you can access the details of, you've got their email addresses, then at the very least you should be going back to those people and remarketing to them through Facebook. Okay, sometimes with conservatories, etc., people might only buy a conservatory every 10, 15 years, etc. They're not going to buy one a year. In which case, what you can do instead is you can take that knowledge about your customers. So you upload your email list to Facebook for your past and previous and your past and current customers, and you ask Facebook to create a list of people just like that, and Facebook goes off and it looks at 1,000 different data points to see, okay, how old are they, what's their gender, what's the type of pages they like, what's the type of books they read, what's the type of films they watch, and it looks at this, you know, it properly joins up all the dots to find out what is it that your past customers had in common, and then it will go off and find people just like them. So that's why I firmly believe that Facebook can work for any business, as long as you've actually got a list of past customers, of course. Okay, so that's my bold statement that I believe Facebook can work for any business, and hopefully, you know, that makes sense as to why. Okay, so let's start jumping into the main content. So some of this may look a little bit familiar to those of you who attended previous webinars, because some of it is slightly updated versions of what we did last year. So this is the only bit that is like that, okay? So we had, when people filled in the survey, and I had over 500 surveys from you, so fantastic, thank you so much for that and telling me the type of things you wanted to learn. I still had a lot of people that wanted to learn some of this information, so I thought I would do a very quick recap here. So I hope that's okay with those of you who've heard little bits of this before. Okay, so in order to build your responsive fan page quickly, to start with, you need to set up a Facebook page. So I'm not going to do a demo here tonight on how to set up a Facebook page, because I'm presuming that's either fairly self-explanatory or you've already got a Facebook page for now. And then you're going to update it between 2 and 6 times per day. And so some people think that you should only be updating once a week. Absolutely not. You should definitely be updating multiple times per day. Because, of course, people access Facebook at different times. Some people in the morning, some people at lunchtime, some people in the evening. And, of course, you'll have some customers in other time zones that you may also need to be publishing at 2 or 3 a.m. Okay, that's great, you may say, but what on earth am I supposed to be posting? And I've given some examples here of the type of information that you could be posting. So you could be posting some positive company news. For example, you've got a new staff, a member of staff has started. Maybe one of your members of staff has gone on maternity leave or has had a baby. Maybe you've got a new store opening. Maybe you've got some new products being launched. Maybe you've got a new website. Maybe you're opening a new branch. Anything like that, anything which is positive, that could definitely go on your page. Then links to other useful blogs. So that, of course, yes, you could put links to your own blogs if you have one. But you needn't think that because you haven't got your own blog that that needs to be a way of actually stopping you. You know, don't let that stop you from posting regularly on your page. So one of the places I showed people before, which was to go and find content. So I appreciate we've got many new people here. I'm just going to go and show you. This is called Topsy.com. Okay, so Topsy.com actually searches through social media. So let's say, for example, that I was, in fact, no, let's search for Facebook. It makes more sense to do Facebook because you'll all understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say, so I've gone to topsy.com and I'm just going to type in fact, let's try Facebook advertising. Let's narrow it down a little bit. Then press enter. And what it's now doing is it's going off to search what's called the social web. So it's searching tweets and Facebook updates and things like that, and it will come back with a list of blogs that people are sharing and that people are talking about. And we can see this one here, we've had 219 comments on this one, so this is obviously quite a popular one. This was 16 days ago. Oh, that's a little bit old. I might want to look at what's happened in the past day. So I'm just going to change that filter there on the left to past 1 day. Oh, okay, right. So we've got probably, here's what happens when Facebook advertising fails. Let me just right click and open that in a new tab. I would go and have a look through this, have a read through the blog. I would decide if it looked like I was happy to actually post a link to it. And as long as it was interesting information, I would then share that on my page by taking this link. So I would just copy this link and then paste it on the page, as simple as that. And you'll have seen me doing that on my Facebook page. Well, you'll have seen us doing it on our Facebook page because it's not typically always me, it's the other team members posting on there. And the idea being that people that are interested in my page are interested in information about Facebook advertising. They don't mind where it comes from. So you don't need to be worried about including links to other people's content, people that are technically competitors. You know, at the end of the day, people will seriously respect you for doing it, and they'll respect you for being willing to share really useful information. So you would just quite simply search for your topic here in the Topsy box, find a list of blogs, and that would be what you would use to post onto your page several times per day. Absolutely amazing way of doing so. Always fresh, relevant information. Topsy I absolutely love. Something else you could do is you could welcome new fans or new likers. So we are about to hit 5,000 fans on our page, I believe, any moment now. And as soon as I do, I will be posting a milestone on the page, for example, and tag fan number 5,000 to say thank you for being our 5,000th fan. That type of thing. So you could do that when you get to 50 fans, 100 fans, or if you've got more than that, you could be doing, I don't know, 10,000 fans. So, you know, and it really encourages people to get involved and to like your updates as well, because people like that type of thing. And of course, you could have pictures of your staff and your products to get people to feel like they really know you. Quotes and opinions, possibly a little bit overused these days on Facebook. So some of you might be sick and fed up of seeing non-stop quotes or images, etc. posted on Facebook. I still like reading some of them. I tend to use them quite sparingly, and I certainly probably wouldn't update a whole page with nothing but quotes and opinion. And of course, info about your new products and services as well. Okay, then secondly, I would use this website here, so likealizer.com. Let me just send that to you in the chat box. Okay, so likealizer.com looks like this, okay? So it allows you to analyze any Facebook page, okay? So that's the website address for my page. You could put in your own page, or you can also put in your competitors to find out more about how their page is doing. So it's likealizer.com. Just type in the address of the page, click go, and it will then come back with some suggestions that tells me how my page is doing, and it will grade my page. So it thinks, for example, that the length of my posts isn't, I think it thinks they're too long, I believe. I was reading through it before. It thinks they're too long, they need to be shorter. It also thinks we need to publish more photos. Having said that, we're currently on a score of 65, and typically people with the same number of fans as us are on 53 on average. So actually we're not doing too badly, as of course you would hope. So we're not doing too badly at the moment. So hopefully some of you have just tested your own pages and I find out you've got some good results. Some of you may be finding out right now that actually you've got some poorer results. and that you've got some good recommendations on there for things that you can do to improve your results on your page in the future. Okay, so in fact, where was it said here? There's something on here. It said that the timing, so it's told us that our timing is way off. So we need to look at our timing, for example. So look at what it says about your timing. Is it about right? Is it catching people when they're actually up and about and on Facebook, or is yours way out as well? And do you need to do some work on your timing? And then just play around with it, time your posts to see what works for you. Okay, so right now on to building fans quickly. So this is brand new because the right hand side ads are extremely different now. So the right hand side ads that look like this one here, okay, so you can see that they're now they're now rectangular. They were a little bit square and far smaller before. This has only recently changed in the last few weeks. So something I suggest that that pretty much everybody at least try to do is start building fans with just a small budget. So I've got one which is set for £2 or £3 per day, for example, using a great image. Okay, so hopefully you can see that this image here, literally this was I love BMW's image, and then the only text in the ad is love BMWs and in the military, like this page if you do. So the niche that I'm advertising to here is people that are in the military in Germany, for example. Okay, so that's a very specific niche. So I went and chose a variety of different interests. So this is where I'm going to need to start. I'm going to go and jump in now so that I can show you. Okay, so let me jump into Facebook and I will show you how I would set this type of thing up. Okay, so to get to this, you just need to go to facebook.com/ads. Okay, I'm in a slightly different version of Facebook ads, just to point out to you, you can see my screen at the top there is grey rather than blue. All the functionality is exactly the same, it's just this bar at the top slightly different, and that's because I've got a version that allows me to manage multiple accounts. So facebook.com/ads, and you then just quite simply create an ad, and it would be a page-like ad, and you then choose the page that you want to advertise, that you're going to try and get likes for. So mine would be this one, and I would then, it's got a suggested image there which is taken from the Facebook cover image, so that one's no good. So I would upload an image. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I've got any. Well, let's just upload that one for now. It's not a sensible image, but let me just go back and show you the type of image that you would choose. So you can see mine is it's trying to build a, it's the niche is I want people that really love BMWs. So that's why I've got I love BMWs. How could you present your niche? Have a look at your business. What would people be interested in? So if you, for example, I was talking to somebody yesterday who is building a website for gluten-free people. People are interested in becoming gluten-free, and it's are you gluten intolerant, for example. It's that type of ad. So it's where you're going to try and make it really a real niche ad that really stands out, really appeals to people. So it's not going to work for everybody. If you're a locksmith, for example, or an electrician, you're going to struggle to do an ad that says I love electricians, to be honest, as you can probably imagine. So this will not apply to everybody, but for those of you, particularly if you're involved in pet care, for example, if you were doing something with dogs and cats, this would work amazingly well. Try and see if you can think of a way that your niche could be broken down into an advert like this. Okay, so let me carry on creating this ad for you. Okay, so my text would be, what did I put before? So love BMWs and in the military, like our page if you do. Okay, now I would remove it from the desktop completely. Okay, so the desktop, that is the ads that appear on your PC or your laptop as you're going through Facebook. Okay, so these type of like ads, typically I would remove those, and I would remove them from the mobile feed as well, because otherwise it just works out far too expensive. And we would concentrate just on the right hand column, and there you go, you can see the ad looks a little bit more similar now to the one that I showed you. Okay, oh look, see, it says 4,999 people like this page. Cool, one person's going to be being welcomed soon, very soon, as our 5,000th fan. Okay, so that was the ad. So we've now set up an ad that looks like that, and it will automatically, for everybody that doesn't already like the page, come up with that nice little button there that says like page. But at the moment we haven't targeted it for anybody. So this is where you now need to start thinking, how does this apply to me? You know, where are my fans going to come from? Now we're going to come on to this very shortly. We're going to look more at interest for now. But let me say I wanted to target, so in my case, let's say we wanted to target the whole of the United Kingdom. Okay, now you notice what I had to do there, by the way. That's a funny little blip sometimes that appears in Facebook. You type in United Kingdom and it can't find it. So what I did was just deleted the last couple of letters and typed it again and it found it. Sometimes Facebook is a little bit buggy. It's almost like they're updating it so fast that it can't keep up with itself. So it is a little bit frustrating at times. So interests. Let me show you what I selected previously. So I had United States Air Force, because I was trying to target people that were members of the United States military, because that was the target market for that person whose ad I just showed you. United States military, United States Marine, etc. You can see that there's all kinds of different interest groups that I could have targeted then. And you can see that already between the ages of 18 and 65 plus, I have got, can you see that? 260,000 people that are potential fans, you know, that are interested in the United States, that are interested in the United States military of some sort. And all of these could become potential fans. Now that's all I would then need to put in there. I might change the age, to be honest. So if you wanted to at this stage, so I myself, for example, I target people 24, 25 and over typically. You might want to change yours. It depends on your market. You know your market better than me. Now the ad set name, I would generally tend to call it something sensible like page like ad. And mine, of course, was targeting the US military. And then per day, $5, around about £3 or so per day. That would be all I would suggest that you bid, okay? And then you'll be bringing in around about 50 or so fans a week, typically on that budget. And then you just quite simply click on place order. Now that's in that particular target market. For those of you in other markets, so for example, I mentioned before about pets. If for any of you that are involved in pets, Facebook is amazing for pet shops of any sort or for pet care of any sort. You could probably get fans for a penny each easily, and maybe even less than a penny, especially if you had cute images of cats and dogs, of course. Don't we wish it was that easy for all of the other industries? Unfortunately, it's not. So it will be a lot down to do with the targeting and a lot down to do with the type of image you've chosen. So although you just saw me upload quite a basic image, it is worth getting these type of images done here, okay? So, you know, an image that actually stands out to people. And this, of course, will just appear in the right-hand side. Because it's only appearing in the right-hand side, people don't tend to get as annoyed about it as people sometimes do if it's appearing in the news feed constantly. People will become fans, and of course as soon as they're a fan the ad then disappears, because let me just remind you by clicking back on here, connections, it was only people not connected. So that was automatic. Facebook did that automatically because it knew the first thing we did was select a page like ad. So connections was only people not connected. So as soon as they're a fan, of course they won't see that ad anymore, so it won't keep annoying them. Okay, so we would then just quite simply click on place the order, and it would then go live straight away. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. go live straight away, and you'll be spending these couple of pounds per day getting in, I would hope, at least 40, 50 fans, depending on your targeting. So that really is where you're going to have to get your thinking hat on, and start thinking, how can I apply this to my industry, and is it possible to do so? So I'd love to hear from some of you if you come up with some creative ways of doing so, especially for those of you that are electricians and plumbers, of course, because I've told you how difficult you're going to find it. How can you come up with a unique way of getting fans that are, of course, potential fans that might buy from you as well? Okay, so of course that would probably be local fans as well, people that are fans, for example, of Bristol pages. If I was targeting people in Bristol, for example, that type of thing. So there's all kinds of things you can play around with, but do let me know if you come up with something creative. Okay, so, and why are we just building fans at this stage? Well, I mean, to be honest, as I said, it's just a couple of pounds per day, so it's a very small dipping the toe in the water. And of course, you're building fans for using later on. So, say once per week or so, or once per month, however often you want to do it, you could post a normal post on your Facebook page, which has, for example, a special offer or a new product that you've just taken in, or maybe you've got a refer a friend offer, for example, if you were a tradesperson, anything like that. If you choose to boost your promotional post just to those fans, it's far cheaper that way because they're already fans. So it means that you'd be able to boost a post and reach all hundreds or all thousands of your fans, of course, if you've got to that stage by then, very, very cheaply. You know, like you could reach probably a good couple of, maybe a few thousand of them for $15, $20, or £15, £20, depending on which currency your account's in. Mine's in dollars because my account was a fairly old one. I've had it for a few years. Okay, so that's why that's how to do the Facebook like ad, and that's why you would want to do them. Okay, so let's jump on to the next topic. So, how to create your killer adverts for your business using your little-known Facebook targeting features. So to start off with, many of you won't have realized that this is possible. So let me go into Facebook. Okay, so what I suggest that you do is go to facebook.com. Now this can be changed back, so don't worry thinking that what we're about to do is about to change your settings permanently. You would click on the top right hand arrow here, and then you would go to settings, and you would change your language to English United States. So I apologize if you are already from the United States and yours is already set to United States. But the reason that we need to do it is because it gives you access to a whole load of features that Facebook hasn't yet brought over here, which is somewhat frustrating. Okay, so that was drop down arrow, settings, then under language where it says English. Yours may set, those of you in the UK, it will say English UK. You just quite simply click on edit, change it to English US, and your Facebook will now look different than before. Okay, so you've now got a slightly different box just here. For those of you that had the word Adverts Manager, for some reason, they've now decided that because we've gone American, it's now Ads Manager. Okay, so you'll now have the wording Ads Manager. I've noticed that in mine it's up here on the left. Some of you may find your Ad Manager somewhere further down for some reason. Okay, so where was I? Okay, so I was doing changing to English United States language, and the reason that we did that is so you can then use something called Facebook Graph Search. Okay, so this Facebook Graph Search is absolutely amazing, and you can use it to identify people who are gurus or books that people read, or in fact, let me just jump in and I'll demo and it'll start making more sense as I'm going through. Okay, so I would type in pages liked by people who like. Okay, so the terminology is fairly important here, so let me just hang on a second until people have actually caught up with what I was saying there. Pages liked by people who like. And let me see, what do my fans normally, what are the other pages my fans like? Okay, so I'm going to click on this one here. pages liked by people who like Mesmerised with Claire Jarrett. Okay, so I've got a whole list here of other pages that my fans like. So typically I would look through this list, look for ones which have got a high number of fans. So we've got Nigel Bottles Entrepreneur Circle, 34,000. That's a nice high number. I generally look for probably around about, say, 7,000 or 8,000 and above, because that way you've got, Facebook won't let you target all of these people. So I would hazard a guess that most of these probably aren't actually targetable in Facebook yet. They will be once they get more fans, but you can actually select them as an interest. Okay, so if I was to scroll down now, Joanna Martin, that's a potential. John Loomer Digital, that's another potential. Brad Burton hasn't got enough fans. Mary Smith, that's another potential. Okay, but what I'm looking is for pages that my current fans like, because what I can then do is advertise to those people. I can advertise to fans of Mary Smith, for example, and I can advertise whatever it is that I want to show. So it might be, for example, a webinar, or it might be a free download that I was offering. But I'm much more likely to be able to acquire new fans and new email subscribers if they're my type of people. And my type of people are listed here by Facebook Graph Search. So all you do is pages liked by people who like, and you then put in your own fan page name. If that didn't work, it doesn't matter. You can just do one of your bigger competitors. So if your own fan page isn't big enough, you could do pages liked by people who like, and let's do the top one. So Nigel Bottles Entrepreneur Circle. Okay, so let's imagine my own page is so small I haven't got enough fans. What do Nigel, my competitor, what pages do they like? Okay, so you can see then we've got a lot of similar. So we've got Joanna Martin again. Frank Kern, that's 55,000 likes, for example. Entrepreneurs in London, 28,000. So I just have a skim through and look for those with high numbers. And this is where I would then quite simply set up an ad, and then in interests. So let's say that I was trying to get some new fans in. Here under interests, let me delete these three that I've already got in here. So here under interests, I might type in, what was that one I just saw then? Frank Kern. Okay, so let's see how many people it's found. 3,400 people it's going to target. I could also have, let's try Entrepreneurs in London. I'm not sure if they're there actually. This might be a good example to show you of one that doesn't actually come up. Oh, no, it does indeed. So sometimes it's a bit of frustration. Sometimes they don't come up, even though they've got quite a lot of fans. Again, this is one of those random Facebook quirks that I have got no reason or no explanation for whatsoever. It just sometimes happens, unfortunately. So Entrepreneurs in London plus Frank Kern, I've got 16,800 people. And if I then placed that order, I would then be showing my Facebook ad, which was of course the Facebook like ad that we built earlier, to people who are fans of Entrepreneurs in London and Frank Kern. And you of course could just type your competitors in here. So we just saw that one of my competitors was Nigel Bottle, for example. So I could type Nigel in there, and you can see we've now got a reach of 72,000 people. So these are people who are either fans of Nigel, Frank and Entrepreneurs in London, or people who are talking about it. So it might be it might be that people are talking about Frank Kern on their news feed, or it might be that people have read Frank Kern's book and have posted about it, anything like that really. So that was pages, and you could also, I mean, that's my favorite, to be honest, is pages liked. This is one that tends to work best. Then I could also try others such as books read by people who like, and then, so what are the books that my fans like? Okay, so I did pages liked by people who like, I then did my fan page name. You can also do books read by people who like, and you then type your page name. So we've got how to talk to absolutely anyone, 7,000 7,660 people. The Secret, Think and Grow Rich. A huge number of people liking Think and Grow Rich. The 4-Hour Work Week, The Power of Now, etc. So once I've got these books, let me just go and take these out a minute. What was one of those? Let's do Think and Grow Rich. So in interest, if I was to type Think and Grow Rich, let me see how many people. Goodness me, 92,000 people I would now be showing the ad to. So hopefully you can see how you can very quickly use this Facebook graph function to actually identify people who are your potential new customers. Okay, so they're either reading books or they are fans of similar pages to your own or your competitors. Actually, there is a new feature that I saw on there the other day, which was pages similar to. So let me just show you this one as well. I suspect Facebook are doing something with this at the moment. It doesn't work very well at the moment, but keep an eye on this one because I think this will actually be an interesting one. You can type pages similar to and then type your page name in. It comes up with some quite random websites at the moment. So Making It Anywhere, Working in Canada, My Weight Loss Dream and the Social Skinny. So they're nothing at all to do with Facebook marketing. So why it says it's similar, but I suspect Facebook are probably going to change that one. Probably working on that algorithm at the moment. So keep an eye on that one. Okay, so something else you can also do is target by behavior. So sometimes you can combine this as well. So you might want to get to a page admin. So somebody who is a page admin, as in they have their own Facebook page, you can normally be, let's say you were trying to get to the owner of a business. If you were to target page admins, you might be more, well, in many cases, this works, not always, but in some cases, it is likely that you'll be able to get to the owner of the page by targeting the page admin. So let me just show you what I mean by that. Okay, so under behaviors, I might type page admins, and there we go, we've got Facebook page admins. So let's say that I wanted to target people who were fans of Think and Grow Rich, but they also had their own Facebook page. So it might mean that they were a business owner, or it might mean that they were maybe a marketer, for example, something like that. You can see that's now cut the reach down to 38,000. So I've combined these two. So I've got Think and Grow Rich and Facebook page admins. Now, one of my favorites is, let me take out page admins, is under behaviors, I put small business owners. So if you're business to business and you're targeting small business owners, then obviously this is absolutely amazing being able to do that. So you could, of course, combine one interest with the fact they're a business owner, or you could just take this out. So doing this will allow me to target all of those that Facebook believes are small business owners, okay? And in fact, if I hold my mouse over there, can you see it says description, people who list themselves as small business owners or own small business pages on Facebook, okay? So it's in some ways somewhat similar to page admins as well. Okay, and I've had a lot of success advertising using the behaviors element of small business owners. I normally do have to combine it with an interest as well. But look at that. So we've got 1.5 million people. And of course, you could then combine it with people who are fans of The Secret, for example. And that would then give you 30,000 people, etc. So you could add a number of interests in here. But hopefully you can see there's an amazing amount of things that you can do in here. Okay, so I then showed you the combination, so I just showed you that one. Okay, done that one. Okay, so now on to the next topic, which was audience insights. So audience insights, many people haven't been using them yet, mainly because for us here in the UK, it's not hugely beneficial. In the United States, they get a lot more information that's available to them, as you'll see shortly. So let me just go back. In fact, I'll leave that page open for now. Okay, I'm just going to go back into my ad manager. Okay, now over on the left-hand side here, I'm going to click Audience Insights. And what I can now do is I can start selecting, or I could either select people straight away, or I could analyze the audience first, okay, because obviously that's why it's called Audience Insights. So here under location, it currently says United States. I would tend to add in a few countries to start with, just till I can get some useful information. So let's add in United Kingdom, let's add in Ireland, and I would normally add in, so my own targeting, I normally add in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, etc. Okay, and then let's look at, so I could, for example, look at my, let's have a look at my current fans, for example. So people connected to Mesmerized. Okay, so I've started off with, I've put all the locations in, I put all the countries in. The next thing is I've gone to connections where it says page, and I've typed in the name of my page. And then I would then analyze this information. So typically, apparently my page has got 55% women and 45% men, which is exactly the same apparently as across the whole of Facebook, so nothing unusual there. Typically, we are an educated bunch on my page, so we are 50% less likely to be high school educated than standard. We are much more likely to be college educated or grad school educated, much more likely to be married, much less likely to be single. Okay, and you can see that much more likely to have a management job title. So 25% of my fans are in management, and that's 150% more likely than standard Facebook users. So some useful demographic information there. You can also see, well, you're also supposed to be able to see other pages that your fans are members of, but unfortunately it doesn't work unless you've got a lot of American fans. At least it doesn't work for me anyway. So that doesn't work in this instance. But you can also, let me get rid of my page. I might type in an interest here. So let's say I wanted to look at Nigel Bottrell's again. Okay, so I've just typed in Nigel Bottrell there on the left, and it tells me what are the page likes for people who are interested in Nigel Bottrell. They're interested in Nigel Bottrell's Entrepreneur Circle, so no surprises there. Amazon UK, the Lad Bible, Top Gear, etc. Quite unusual, to be honest. I didn't expect some of those. And what's their typical location? So a lot of people in London, some from Belfast, Doncaster, etc. And I would just have a look through this type of information. Okay, now something you can also do is if I remove that. So let's say that we wanted to target people who were involved. So what I've done here, sorry, I just went to click something then without explaining what I was doing. I clicked on the little button that was next to Advanced. And then let's say that I wanted to go and look at, well, let's say I could target, for example, if I was running a wedding shop, I could target people who were engaged, for example. Or if I was a wedding photographer, I could come here and put in engaged people. And the aim being that eventually, once we've got filters that we're happy with, we can then click on create an ad and create an ad to these people. I probably don't want anything in relation status. Let's go look. Let's say we wanted to, so I was doing this yesterday, I've shown this yesterday to somebody. Let's say that we wanted everybody who was involved in retail for some reason. Okay, we wanted to show ads to all of the retailers. So we would put retail. Oh, in fact, no, it did do it the first time. I thought it didn't. So retail, and what number does that give us now? So we've got 3.5 million to 4 million active people. So I could, at this stage, now think, right, okay, I've got all of those with job titles of retail for all of these countries. Now, if I click create ad, it'll create an ad to all those people. But to be honest, I probably would. I'm going to go and take all of the countries out there, apart from the one that I would bid to, which would, in my case, be United Kingdom. And let's see how many people we've got left. We've got 350,000 people left who have got a job title of being involved in retail. Now I could then combine that with the fact that I then wanted retailers who were also small business owners, for example, and that would give me small business owners who own their own shop. You can start to see the amazing targeting you can get on here. So that now gives me 20,000 to 25,000. And you quite simply just click the create button, and let's click the use ad create tool, and it takes us straight into Facebook, starts creating the ad, and we would then create the ad from there. You would create whatever type of ad it is you wanted. So it could just be a page likes ad, similar to the one I just showed you, whatever type of ad it is that you wanted to set up at this point. Okay, so what I just did was showed you how to create an ad based on that particular segment. Okay, so then when it comes to following visitors around on Facebook to build your brand and using remarketing, you need to make sure you put the remarketing tag on there first. Okay, so remarketing is the method of where people get followed around all the time by your ads, and that's where they've got a cookie that's been placed on their website, on their PC by your website, but you do need to put the tag on your site in order for that to happen. So I have shown you how to do this on a different webinar that many of you will have attended. I will show you again just in case you didn't see that particular webinar. So you just quite simply go into Facebook. Let me close that one. In fact, I think it's probably easiest if I just go and open another tab. Actually, I'll leave those open just in case we need them again in a minute. So I would then go into Ads Manager. Okay, and I would then go into audiences. Now, in fact, I'm going to need to make sure I go into the correct account a minute, which is inside my business manager, so just bear with me a second. Mine will soon look just like yours any minute. Just wait while I go and log in. Okay, so I would go to audiences. Okay, and I would then click on create audience, custom audience. And yours, for a remarketing tag, so that you can follow people around the web, you need to click on custom audience from your website. So the audience name, that might be all my website visitors, for example. So I do suggest you do this as soon as possible, because the sooner you start putting this tag on your website, the sooner you can start getting people collected together. So that, because the more people you've got that you can remarket to, the better it is, basically, okay, because we're going to use it very shortly for something else as well. Now, website traffic, let's put it anyone who visits your website. In fact, I'm just going to put the word test after that just so that I don't forget what this was for. Okay, you might want to leave it set to 30 days. Personally, I like it to be 180 days because I quite often do webinars a couple of months apart, and I want people to know that I'm doing another webinar. So I tend to set it to 180 days, and you quite simply then click on create audience. Now at this point it will then give you some tracking code. Okay, so if I click on OK, it either gave you a code straight away or you need to go back into it. Let me show you how to go back into it in case yours did the same as mine. So that was the one I just set up, all my website visitors test. You click here where it says pixel details and it gives you a piece of code. Now this code you need to give to your web designer, and they will then put that onto your site, and they do it exactly the same way as Google Analytics, so it goes onto every single page. I'm just going to have a very quick sip of water a minute. Yeah, so you need to make sure that it goes onto every page ideally. Okay, so that code needs to go onto your site, and at that point it will then start counting people. So let me show you. We've got 23,400 people that have been counted in the last 180 days on my site here, for example. And then, of course, you can see I've got them here, 23,400. If I want to create an ad, I could just go and quite simply create an ad to that particular group. Okay, so that's your remarketing tag. Now, I also choose to put mine on standalone landing pages as well, because I want to, anybody who's visited my landing pages, and by landing pages I mean, so many of you will have seen landing pages of mine where I've been inviting you to webinars, and maybe the page was hosted on lead pages, for example. So I put the code on the lead pages page as well, because at the end of the day, you know about me, you've heard of me, you visited my webinar page, so I do put the code on there as well, and that's how it allows me to build the number up quickly. And of course, you then follow your visitors around with your ads. So who here has been followed around by my ads all the time? I'm imagining that many of you have. Yeah, I've got lots of me's, lots of yeses. Yeah, okay, so I'm imagining that many of you have been being followed, well, pretty much consistently using a variety of my different ads and see them quite a lot. It's absolutely fantastic for building your brand. It means that when people finally speak to you, or if they meet you, it means that people feel that they really know you. You've built a huge amount of trust because people feel familiar with you. They've been seeing you all the time on their favorite website. It is an amazing way of doing business. It also means that the minute I launch a new webinar, for example, or if I was to launch a new product, it means I can quite simply invite all of my past visitors very, very cheaply, because this is a very cheap form of advertising as well. But more importantly, of course, what you can then do is you can then create a lookalike audience. So a lookalike audience, I've got 23,000 people in this list, but what I can then do is say to Facebook, right, okay, all those people, they've got these 1,000 data points in common. What can you join together about them to go and find me some more people that are just like my website visitors? So I just go to create audience, lookalike audience, and that was all my website visitors test. I type in the name of the country, which is, sometimes it's Great Britain, sometimes it's United Kingdom. And I then just quite simply click on create audience. Now it won't work because this error message will come up for many of you actually, so it's worth explaining what this means. You need at least 100 people in that audience before you can create that lookalike audience. So you need to get to your first 100 as quickly as possible, and this is why I want you to go and put this code on your website as soon as you can, because it'll make a huge difference. If you put it on sooner rather than later and you start getting to your 100, and then of course you can then build your list. Let me go and show you the lookalike audiences I've already got. You can see it's mainly lookalike audiences here. Okay, so there's a lookalike for Ireland. So that's everybody who's in Ireland who's similar to my normal visitors. So 24,500 people who are similar to those who sign up for my AdWords webinar. Still, that's not the ones I've looked for. So the trouble is I've got so many of them. Yeah, I can't see it now. Oh, there it is. It's right at the bottom, right next to it. So the lookalike for GB for all visitors. So this is people who are like the people who visit my website. There we go. So 375,000 people that I can advertise to, and this is where I get a lot of sales from. So I typically get a lot of the sales coming through the Guru advertising, doing exactly the same as I showed you using Facebook graph search. And then the other half I get through these lookalike audiences where it's similar to my existing fans, my existing visitors, etc. Absolutely amazing. Okay. Right, so that was the next step that I just spoke about. So 1,000 data points being matched. So once you're at 100 fans, you can create your lookalike audience. Okay, so now on to the recent changes that you need to be aware of. So I have heard of people having accounts banned, either their entire profile or their Facebook account. I myself have had adverts disapproved, etc. So you do need to be very careful. So you cannot join Facebook as a page when it should be a profile. So this is to start with. This isn't brand new, to be honest. This has been around for a while, but they are starting to clamp down on it. So your Facebook should say, your Facebook profile should be, as mine is Claire Jarrett, for example, should be your name. Your Facebook profile should not be my business name, and whatever it is the name of your business. That's really important. Now, a year ago, there was a fantastic tool that we were able to use that allowed us to download fans of other pages and download members of other groups. We can't use that tool at all anymore. And if we were to, we are at risk of having our entire account banned. So I have personally chosen to delete all of any groups and audiences that I created using those tools, and deleted adverts that I made create with those particular groups and audiences as well. So that's very important. You can't make any income claims or weight loss claims. So Facebook have started to clamp down in the same way that Google did a few years back. So you need to be very careful with the type of claims that you're making for your product, for your service. You need to be very controlled with what you say. Don't make any over-the-top promises, and if you get banned once, as in if your adverts get disapproved once, then I would suggest seeking assistance, because otherwise your entire account may get banned. If your entire account gets banned, Facebook do not let you appeal it, and you would have no choice but to try and set up another one, which can sometimes be quite difficult to do so, and it is a bit of a pain. Okay, so do watch out for that. So people are having their entire accounts banned, and I have heard of people having their profiles closed where they're using it for work, where they're only using it for work and only posting promotional offers on. So it is definitely worth, if you've got a Facebook page, if you've got a Facebook profile when it should be a Facebook page, I would be changing that over as soon as physically possible. Right, okay. So here's what I promised you that you were going to learn this evening. How to build a responsive fan page quickly, how to create killer ads for your business using little-known Facebook targeting features, how to follow visitors around on Facebook to build your brand, and use remarketing to generate leads quickly and affordably. And then, of course, the recent changes that you must be aware of to make sure you stay compliant with Facebook's terms of service. Now, as I mentioned, this was the first in a series of 9 webinars that I'm doing. Now, for those of you that are interested in hearing how you can get access to the other 8, I'm going to start telling you about those 8 now. Okay, so I am launching a new course which is called FB Ad Masters, and I'm going to go through here what we're going to be covering in the remaining 8 modules. Okay, so it's going to be a weekly course with 8 webinars, 1 held each week. So we're going to start off with Facebook advertising basics, building fans fast, much more detail in page like ads rather, targeting potential new customers. Module 2, we're going to look at something called the Power Editor, which is an offline tool for managing your Facebook ads. Also allows you to copy and paste, so that you don't have to keep creating ads all the time. You can create multiple ads very quickly. And then how to set up conversions. So conversions is where you can track, let's say, for example, you've got a contact form on your website. You might want to track when somebody has sent you a request for a quote, for example. You might want to track a sale, which is what we do. You might want to track a webinar registration, which is obviously what we do as well. So our third module is going to be upscaling from a small budget. So that's a very common question that people ask me to teach about. So that's why I put that one in there. Local business advertising. So we've got some changes coming in Facebook really soon. So we've got, there's going to be a button appearing in Facebook soon which actually says get directions. So if you're a local business, you'll actually be able to advertise to very nearby, and you'll be able to, people will then be able to click the Get Directions button and actually visit your physical premises. So this will be perfect for cafes, restaurants, very local businesses that rely on local trade. What to do when your ads aren't working. And again, this was something that a lot of people asked to know about, so troubleshooting. Module 4 is going to be about video ads and using those videos for remarketing and building audiences. Module 5 is going to be all about Facebook advertising images and why they're so important, how to source the great images, and how to edit your own. Module 6 is going to be how to create custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and then advanced audience techniques where we combine several of them. and using the audience insights and combining them as well with other audiences to build your new audiences. Module 7 will be all about getting the sale on Facebook, so making sure you set your ads up so that you get the sale. And then, of course, tracking it from lead to sale, so you can tell which ad's working. And, of course, multiple conversion pixels. That might mean that, for example, a multiple conversion pixel for us might be that somebody registers for a webinar and then later goes on to buy. So it means we can track both of them back to the same ad. So very important to tick these all off. Module 8, advanced tracking methods, and then advanced advert creation, and then we'll go into more detail on the other areas that people have still got questions on. Okay, so it's going to be a full 1 hour of content and Q&A run over 8 weeks, which are going to be starting. So we're going to be starting next week, so we're going to start next Wednesday, so not very long till we start. Going to be at 8 o'clock, starting October 29th and running through to December the 17th. If you miss any, it doesn't matter because the sessions will be recorded and uploaded to a membership site where you can listen to them indefinitely. So they'll be there for at least 6 months to a year. You know, it's unlikely that we take them down even after that, to be honest. Okay, so let's go a sip of water a second. Oh, where's the time gone? Goodness, it's nearly 9:10 already. Wow, time's flown by. So for those of you who want to get results now, so I've just popped in a quick testimonial that I received. Hi everyone, won't be able to join this evening on the first call. I'm so disappointed. I look forward to the recording as soon as it's up. Just completed my survey and I signed up for lead pages, so still some work to do before I'm ready to let people know about it. Claire, Jarrett, I love the way you're so very direct in your approach and break everything down into tasks you have to do now. It's practically impossible to procrastinate the way you teach. Big appreciation for your teaching style. It really worked for me today. Okay, so in order to get the 8-week course, a typical price, now I'm not going to charge you this. This is just an example price that you would pay for a similar course. So an 8-week step-by-step course showing you how to master Facebook ads, a typical price for that would be $997. I'm then going to add in a second component, which is a bonus. For those of you who don't already have it, this has already been uploaded to the membership site for those of you that would like access to the previous course that I did. And this is going to be a lot more about how to set up and manage Facebook pages and groups, where to get the content for your page, scheduling content, managing your groups, and that's another 8 hours of training. And that is, that's already in the membership site. It's already been uploaded, so that's there ready to go while you're waiting for the webinars to start next week. Okay, so that course was sold at $197 this time last year. And I believe Lucy may be on the webinar this evening. If so, hi Lucy. So you get results like this, over 750 likes in 4 days. Thanks, Claire Jarrett. Okay, so these are the type of results that you'll be able to get. Then the third bonus is a live bonus webinar, which is based on, again, this is from the survey. Some of you told me that you would like to know how to manage Facebook for other people. So we're going to look at how to set up adverts for other people and earn cash to do so, and use something called the Facebook Business Manager, which is something I myself am using, and of course how to set up reports for clients, etc. So that's going to be an extra webinar, which will be number 9, which we will schedule and put the details of in the group, which I'm going to tell you about shortly. Okay, so if I were to sell that, then that would be $397. So you can see so far we've got a typical value of $1,591. Okay, so when it comes to teaching people how to build marketing businesses, I've got a couple of testimonials for you here that people have left for me. So Clifton, good Lord, 4 new clients in 1 week and 12 new accounts to manage. My head's going to explode. Me saying, woohoo, well done you. Clifton saying, thanks Claire, I couldn't have done it without you. Okay, then Laura, I'm not sure if Laura's on the webinar. Hi Laura, if you are. So, why, thanks Claire, all testament to your dynamic coaching, mentoring and professionalism. What you don't know isn't worth knowing. It feels incredible to be helping other people's businesses grow through the latest techniques you've shared. Yesterday, 1 client had 7 new customers. From that, we delivered through Google AdWords. Okay, so this is the type of thing that you will learn, is how to manage other people's accounts for them as well. So that's what the bonus webinar is for. for those of you that choose. So that's optional, of course, but for those of you that choose, you would like to do this as a paid service. Right, then the fourth component I've added in because I think you will really benefit from this. So my team will do 8 Facebook graphics for you during the 8 weeks, and I'd suggest that you have 2 Facebook page headers. So this one's a Facebook page header, this one's a Facebook page header, and a Facebook group header. In fact, which one? Yeah, I think I might have got that the wrong way round. A Facebook group header and then some Facebook adverts. So these are examples of Facebook adverts that you may or may not have seen in your news feed recently. So we'll do 8 of those graphics for you. And a typical value, if you were to outsource that or to ask a designer to do those, would be $497. Okay. Then the 5th bonus is we're adding in a Facebook support group, which will be for the duration of the course. Okay, so we're going to run a course, Facebook support group, which will be for during the whole 9 weeks plus the week until we start. So it'll be for 10 weeks, a Facebook support group where we will manage and answer your questions. You can post adverts in there for feedback, etc. Now, what I cannot promise is at the end of the 10 weeks, the group will continue to be supported. So I do need to be very clear on this because obviously Facebook moves on so quickly. If there are huge changes in Facebook, then it may well be the fact we can't continue to support the group after the end of the course, if that makes sense. So this is what we are promising as a group for during the duration of the course. So I do need to be very clear on that. Okay, but it means that during the 10 weeks, you'll get all your questions answered, get your anything reviewed. If you wanted to post an example of an ad that you've got gone live or post examples of the targeting you're using, then we would be happy to go and advise on that. Okay, so typical value of $2,585. Obviously, now I'm not going to charge you anywhere near that, so it would typically be this. Okay, so what I'm doing is offering an early bird offer which will be until Monday night, and that's £297, which includes all the 8 webinars and the bonuses, and on Monday the price will then go up to $497. Okay, so that's fbadmasters.com. So let me just send you the link a second. So let me just send you that. Now I've also then got another option because some of you may not want any of the bonuses, you might just want the videos. Okay, I'm not quite sure if that applies to any of you, but I thought I would add this option just in case. So if you just want the 8 videos or the 8 live webinars, and of course you'll actually get the recordings of those webinars as well in the membership system, with none of the 5 bonuses, then it'll be $147. Okay, so we've got that option for you there as well. But remember, of course, that that isn't supported. So if you've got questions throughout the group, etc., then there's no support mechanism to answer the questions. So if you think you're going to have questions, or you think you're going to want feedback, I would strongly suggest the other option. Okay, so let me just go and show you that page very quickly because I need to point out to you the fact that people sometimes get this wrong. Okay, so I want to point out to you the fact we've got some options with VAT and without VAT. So if you want the webinars and bonuses and you are from Ireland, that I know many of you are from, or you're from outside of the UK, then you will be using this button that says buy now. If you are from the UK, even if you are not VAT registered, we must by law charge you VAT. So we get every year we get people that try and use this option because they're not VAT registered that thinks it means they don't have to pay VAT themselves. If you're in the UK, by law we have to charge you VAT. So you need to use this option. Okay, so we've got the webinars plus the bonuses here. We've then got the webinars plus the bonuses with the VAT, which you'll use if you're UK. And then, of course, just the webinars if you don't want any of the bonuses. We've got these options here. Okay, right. So I've then got, for those of you that know this is something you want to do, I'm adding in a fast action bonus where I will, for all those of you who buy this evening, I'm going to set up 3 of your Facebook ads for you. Okay, so for those of you that know this is something you want to do, by tonight, email the receipt to team@clairejarrett.com, and then over the coming weeks, I will personally set up 3 adverts for you, which will, of course, be from the best of my experience. So based on obviously finding out from you what you wanted to do, the type of targeting you were after. So I will personally advise on that and then set them up for you in your account, as in I would actually physically go in and set that up for you. So that's not included on the FB Ad Masters page, obviously, because it's only applicable for this evening. So if you buy it this evening, I then need you to email the PayPal receipt to team@clairejarrett.com. And what I will then do is ask for access to your Facebook account so that I'll be able to get in and do the changes. Just set up the ads. So probably you wouldn't want me to set the ads up immediately. You probably would want to have done a couple of weeks of the course first. I should imagine, having said that, you're more than welcome to claim the 3 ads at any point during the 8-week course. Well, 8-week course plus, of course, the bonus, as I'm going to do the bonus, which is the week number 9, which will be how to manage Facebook ads for other people. Okay, so what happens when you buy? You will be given a username and password for the membership site, but remember the site will be empty. So please don't panic thinking, goodness me, the site's empty. That's because we haven't recorded any of the webinars yet. So it will be empty. For those of you if you're choosing the bonuses, it will have the old course in, Get Selling on Facebook. But don't buy the site, then contact us saying there's nothing in it, because it's there ready for us to upload the recordings as we start next week. Now, when you click the buy button, what will happen is you automatically get registered for all of the live webinars, and GoToWebinar will then send you a confirmation email that registers you for all of the emails, the whole series of them. Okay, but if you get any problems with any of it, just quite simply email us. So it's Karen, my assistant, and it's team@clairejarrett.com. Okay, right. So let me now come over and start going through some questions. So we've got a few minutes left for some questions. All right, let me just try and detach this questions box. For some reason it's playing around. Maximize it a bit. Okay, so I've got people ask if there's a discount for returning customers. Unfortunately, this is why I've got the 2 options. If you don't want the bonus course, which was the one that you did for last year, that's why I've given you the option for 147. So that's why I've done it for people who were returning customers. But to be honest, the other bonuses I was hoping would still be worth you having, Jason. So hopefully, with us doing the images and me setting up the ads for you if you want to buy this evening, etc. Okay. So Alex is asking a question about CPC or CPM. So that is one of the things we go into in a lot of detail. So we haven't covered that this evening because obviously there's only so much I can cover in a 1-hour webinar. That is one of the things we cover in a huge amount of detail. As in, it will be one of the items that we look at that will take at least half an hour to an hour to discuss. And I will go through and show you in real detail some ads I've got where I've optimized for conversions, where I've used CPM, where I've used CPC, where I've used optimized CPM, etc. So I'll go through all of those type of things. Okay, I've got quite a few questions coming through here. I'm just having a... So Andrew's asking, if I do the course, will this equip me to teach others? Andrew, I don't know how good you are at teaching and passing on knowledge. So obviously it's quite difficult for me to make a judgment on that. The information you will be given will be enough that you would be able to run your own Facebook ad campaign successfully and then go on to do it for others. What I wouldn't like to suggest is that you could go on and teach others without ever having spent any of your own money. There is no substitute for spending your own money, getting it right first, and then you will be qualified to teach others and to teach others. So that would be my suggestion, is give this a go, get it working for you. When you've got it working for you, then go on and teach others. Okay, so somebody's asked what's the difference between a business page and a fan page. So they're both exactly the same thing, so there's no difference between those. Noel says, is the timing based on the UK or United States time zone? When you set the account up, it will be based on the time zone for where you set the account up. So I set mine up a few years back, and that's why mine's in the United States. But typically for most of you, when you set it up, if you're in the UK, yours will set up as UK, charge you in pounds, and be based on GMT. So you should be fine now. Brian says, what's RHS only? That means right-hand side only. So I showed you how to take out the mobile news feed and the standard news feed. Okay, so I would suggest running the page-like ads only in the right-hand side. So that's what RHS stands for there. So apologies for using that abbreviation. Okay, I've got a couple of people asking if I will separate out some of the different items of the course. Unfortunately, we've got no plans to do that, nor would I suggest you do so, because obviously, as I said, you need to, in order to be able to manage Facebook for other people, you definitely need the skills from the rest of the course as well. So there are no plans to divide it out. So how much budget should I allow for remarketing? Depends on the number of visitors you've got. So anywhere from a few pounds up to like £50 if you've got quite a few thousand visitors. If you've only got a couple of hundred visitors, then obviously smaller amounts should be okay. Gary says, how does Facebook ads compare to Google ads? So Facebook is typically people are on Facebook hanging out, whereas of course Google, people are searching for a particular service. So it means you can get in front of them straight away. So Facebook, it's a whole different type of tactic. You need to make sure that you are that you're getting their attention, that you're building fans, that you're getting their email addresses, and that you're backing that up with email addresses. So it is, it's a very different kettle of fish. As Shelley says, will you teach anything on how to analyse the ROI of Facebook ads? Definitely, yeah. So that'll be definitely, that will be when we look at setting up conversion pixels and multiple conversion pixels, because obviously at that point you would then need to know which ad is actually bringing in the most money. So yes, definitely. So Ian says, at the beginning you mentioned uploading your email list to target similar. Is this the create the custom audience, data file custom audience? It is indeed, yes. Gary says, will the course cover list building from Facebook into your list? Yes, it will. A lot of what I do is exactly that. That's how I will teach, because that's what I myself do, is use Facebook to build emails and then follow that up. So yes, indeed it will. Rose says, how do you get email addresses from Facebook ads? You need to get them to sign up for something in the same way as you, Rose, at one point will have signed up for a webinar. So that's how I would do that, is get them to sign up for something, a report, a webinar, whatever it is, and then you've got their email address. Okay, Nikki says, we're a group working together. I'm not sure if we should have one profile page or individual ones. How do we decide? You definitely need a profile page each, definitely. But then probably one business page if it's one business that you're working under. So I hope that answers the question, Nikki. I'm hoping that that's what you meant there. Now, Sim says, is the course suitable for a newbie interested in using your teaching for my own business ad campaigns? Absolutely, yeah, that's what it's meant for. So it's aimed at people that are really quite brand new to this, definitely. And the other course, Get Selling on Facebook, will bring you up to date on managing Facebook itself. And then, of course, this course will take you right from beginner all the way up to advanced. Right, Jason says, can I find my clients' profiles in Facebook just by having their email address? You could advertise to them by having their email address, or you could invite them to connect with your personal profile. So yes, you could do one of those two things. Okay, so I've got a couple of people asking about the replay. So the replay, we will be emailing round the details for the replay, and that will be coming round, well, tomorrow. So we'll be uploading the recording tomorrow. We'll be emailing that round. Okay, so Gary's asking about sharing the course with a business partner. In that instance, you would actually need 2 different logins for that, Gary, if it's 2 different people that are going to need to access at 2 different times, unfortunately. Eric's asking a question about custom audiences and pixel codes. We will cover that in the course under remarketing. So that is, there is a way of setting it up so that it's very clear. You can actually separate out the domains, and you set up, you edit the code so that one is for one website, one is for another website. You can even have one set up for a page, for example. So we will cover exactly how to do that, but it is possible, Eric. I appreciate your frustration. It is quite annoying when that happens. Gail's asking a similar question as well. Can I set up a different remarketing tag for different landing pages so I can create an ad? So you use the same tag, you just need to edit the tag and how it's created in Facebook so that you actually have which domain it goes to. Sarah says, are the prices still relevant tomorrow? Yes, indeed they are, Sarah. The prices will still be relevant until Monday when the early bird offer expires. Martin says, what's a profile page? So that will be on Facebook, Martin, and then whatever your surname is, Martin. I can't see your surname on here at the moment. That will be your profile page. And then I've got a similar question from Rose, who says, what are lead pages? So lead pages are a special landing page creator that we will look at. So we will look at lead pages and how that fits into the course, because I will show you how to actually create pages that are standalone so that you don't actually even need a website in order to be able to advertise on Facebook. So it's very, very clever how it does it. Right then, okay, so we will end it there. So I'm hoping to welcome as many of you on board as possible for the remaining 8 main webinars, then the one which will be aimed at managing for clients. So hoping to welcome as many of you as possible for those. And in fact, yep, I've got some of you typing in, I'm on board, or I've jumped in already. Fantastic. So for those of you who have bought this evening and that do want me to set up some ads for you, or for a client, Susie, of course, if you wanted me to help out with a client account, then just email your receipt to me, and I'm more than happy to help out with the client account if you want assistance there. Email your receipt to team@clairejarrett.com just so that we know who's actually claiming the bonus from this evening. Right, fantastic. So really hope you enjoyed this evening, and I will look forward to speaking to you all on the next webinar. So bye for now.